Welcome back to the Gardening with Joy and Holly radio show. Thank you for being with us today, allowing us to be part of your day just for a little bit. Want more information about those companies, those coupon codes? Our parent website, thewisconsinvegetablegardener.com, underneath the Season 9 tab at the top of the page, or the Money tab. Holly, let's go to the hotline and bring in our guest for this week.
Stacy Ling is a master gardener, has been gardening for over 25 years, an author and a blogger. She is the creator of Bricks and Blooms, and her recent book, The Bricks and Blooms Beautiful and Easy Care Flower Garden Planner, came out a couple months ago. Welcome to the program, Stacy.
Thanks so much for having me. It's so great to meet you both.
Well, absolutely. We're happy to have you on the program. And Holly said that you've been gardening for 25 years. How did you get into gardening? Was it something that was instilled in you as a child, or you found later on in life and said, hey, this is something pretty neat?
I found it later on in life, and it's actually an interesting story because my husband and I were newly married. We were living in a small condominium in suburban New Jersey, and my neighbor, who had a townhome, I don't know if you're familiar with townhomes and like how much property they have, but they really don't have much.
Right.
And she gardened in very small spaces there, and she did so much with it. And I remember her growing these beautiful Globemaster alliums and a few other really pretty flowers. And I just thought to myself, you know what? That is so cool. I really want to learn how to do that. And I was in my second year of law school at the time. I had no experience with gardening whatsoever, but those gorgeous flowers just like struck me, and it just had me right then and there.
Yeah, if you wait for everything to be perfect, you never get anything done.
Exactly. I just started asking her questions, and I started with houseplants, and I killed them all. Unfortunately, my first go with gardening was not very successful, but she guided me into trying impatiens in a very small area outside of our front door. I found some success with that, and then once they bloomed, I was like, I said to my husband, I'm like, I'm a gardener now. We need to get some property. And so we moved, and our family home of 23 years, we had half an acre, and I completely built that property out with garden after garden after garden, because it just really started to consume me, and I just, was digging and dividing plants, and
it's addictive.
Eventually, yes, it really is. And it's so, relaxing and therapeutic, and I just love it.
Now, when you lived in the condominium, did you have a light issue where you had to move the plants at a certain time of day to get more light, or how did she instruct you on that?
She basically told me, since I had a really bad experience with my houseplants, she said, she assessed the light situation where I could plant, and we determined it was shady, and she was like, start with impatiens and just do that. And I didn't really have access to a great water source. So even going out and watering, I had to go out with a watering can, because we didn't have a hose or anything. So I had to bring, a watering can down from our unit and come down and water the flowers. So
old school.
Yes, very old school.
And now
I still loved it anyway.
And now you have a half acre, and you kind of wish you had 2 or 3 acres.
Well, no. Well, we moved from there because we built out so much. I looked at my husband a couple of years ago, late 21, as a matter of fact, and I said, I found a place. So where we are now, it's 10 acres.
Oh my.
Yeah, 5 of it's wooded, and then the other 5 are all these really cool garden spaces and garden rooms. So I've got a Zen garden, a potager, formal garden. It's really fabulous. The bones were here when we moved in, and I've just been putting my floral spin on everything. It's been amazing.
Now, I know people are listening and going, 5 acres of woods. What about the animals? What about the deer or the rabbits or the squirrels?
Oh, they are definitely challenging. Deer, we have a lot of them. My property has a good herd. I do have to do a lot of deer-resistant plantings, and whatever I don't do deer-resistant plantings, I use a repellent, and that works very well. It's very effective. As long as my way of doing it, though, and this is really key. So let's say we're talking about something like tulips that they love. So the moment those tulips break ground, I will start spraying them, and then they'll grow maybe a third. I'll spray them again. They'll grow a little bit more. I'll spray them again. And then when they get their flower head, I spray it again. And then when it blooms, I spray it. Sounds like a lot of work, but if you want to grow stuff with wildlife, unfortunately, you kind of have to adapt.
Yeah, definitely. I think that speaks to a lot of people don't believe that, deer repellent sprays don't work, but I think it's about how you use them and being aware for sure.
Yeah, I use them on my hydrangeas, on my roses, and the same thing. Like as soon as the plant leaves out, I start spraying. And then I don't go longer than a month because, with rain and things like that, I don't want it to wear off. And anytime I get complacent, that's when I start seeing the nibbles. My latest challenge though is rabbits. Rabbits have been like the bane of my existence the last year, but there's even repellents that work well with them too.
Fantastic. So a lot of people don't know what cottagecore design concept is, or the look of cottagecore. What is it, and why do you think it's become so popular?
So I think especially in today's society where it's this high-paced, high-tech, and everything's like immediate, it's so great to kind of slow down and I think it's due to a yearning for a simpler life. And so with that, we want like a deeper connection with nature. Maybe we're growing more houseplants, flowers, things with rustic charm. You'll see like a lot of baskets and, different types of textures and stuff, instead of something being like really cold, sleek, and modern. I definitely think there's a space for that, but I think more people are really starting to lean into that more natural, organic aesthetic.
Kind of like the years of our childhood where things were a simpler time, or at least we thought it was.
Yes. Really, think about it. It's such a high-paced world we live in now, and everybody's so stressed and feeling so anxious. I think it's only natural to, really kind of yearn for things to be a lot simpler. And so finding yourself in gardening or growing a plant is really rewarding, or like to coddle a seedling, to get it to grow and produce, whether it's a flower or, broccoli that you're growing in your garden. That's super cool.
Definitely.
Very, very simplistic, very roots you about, I'm this person in this big galaxy, and this is what I've able to accomplish, and I'm eating what I grew.
Yes.
I think a lot of people also think of cottagecore as like a fashion thing, and it takes away from the just like growing something or baking your own bread or whatever it may be. So it's good to kind of to focus on the plant part, or the actual, I guess, duty of it. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, to me, it's like I almost call it garden style. Like it's this garden style of that's kind of been my aesthetic. And so, interestingly, cottagecore, really embodies that, right? I mean, it's all, like you said, you're baking bread, and it's, things that you're doing with your hand. Maybe you're crocheting, maybe you're knitting, maybe you're making things. It's just a great way to like slow it down and, like a simpler way of living, instead of just having your face in your phone and being on your computer, 24/7, which, many of us do, right? I mean, especially, certain careers, and like our children are being raised on, phones and computers and stuff like that. So it's just like a much different time.
Well, tell us about your new book, the Bricks and Blooms Beautiful and Easy Care Flower Garden. What is in it? Or garden planner, my apologies. What is in it? What can our listeners expect to pick up a copy of that?
So the planner is basically a comprehensive workbook that will walk you through the whole process of garden design from start to finish. It's going to help you take the guesswork out of planning and help you create a low maintenance garden that thrives without demanding all of your time. And one of the things that I really love about a planner is it's a great place to kind of record all the things down about your garden, and it will help you plant something that is, for lack of a better word, easy to grow, low maintenance. You can remember all the things that like you would forget. For example, like that I can't tell you how many times I've bought a plant and then like I'm going to remember what the variety is. I will remember what that is. I will remember. And like 2 weeks later, I couldn't tell you what it is. So like, all right, that's a great way to put that in your planner. But the other good thing about a planner too, is that it's a great place to, like keep a history of your garden that you can not only look back and reflect on yourself and learn from, but your children and grandchildren can learn from the trials and tribulations of your own garden. And it could also be passed down to the next steward of your garden. Like if you go and move and you want to help the new homeowner along, you can kind of give them this manifesto, if you will, to your garden and how it grows.
Yeah, a little diary of what is going on and how to do it. And the nice thing about it, it's on paper. It's not on a digital platform where if something goes wrong, you've lost it. You've got that book. You've got it right there with you.
Yes, and my planner has some cheat sheets and garden design. So it's not just like a bunch of empty workbook pages. There's guides of what to do month to month, just like some garden design ideas, deer resistant planting ideas, things like that. That goes a little bit deeper than just like an empty workbook that you fill in. But it will definitely be a great tool to have in your garden tool belt to help you grow the garden of your dreams.
Well, please tell us more about your blog.
So my blog, I have been blogging since 2018, and I started it when my oldest daughter started college. I had always kind of thought maybe it's something that I wanted to do because blogging has been a thing for a long time now. And when she left for college, I kind of just like looked at my husband and I just like wanted to have another purpose. And so the reason I started my blog was because I wanted to reach people like me, my friends, family that have always mentioned to me they didn't know how to grow things and they, unalive all kinds of plants. And so I wanted to be a good resource, like your biggest cheerleader, to teach you how to do it and enjoy it as much as I do. So that's one of the reasons why I started it and when I started it. And then since then, I rolled that into social media, and then I wrote books and started a YouTube channel, and it's really been a lot of fun. I love it. I love being able to do this. It's so rewarding, and just to be able to do something that you're passionate about and earn an income from it is just truly a blessing.
And then going back, 5 or 6 years and going, oh, that's what I was doing at that point. That's what cause you just said we all don't remember what we did last week.
Yes.
So it's a great way to kind of relive. Oh yeah, I remember that now.
And it's a great way to kind of, a lot of times we're like, oh, you kind of get, you see more of the negative things, but then you look back and you're like, wow, look at how far I've come. Like I've come a long way from when we like first moved here, for example, to, the spaces have changed dramatically since we moved in, and looking back to 2022 to now is really incredible when you see everything that like I've done to change things. So it's been great. It's almost like another planner.
Mm-hmm. And the thing I always remind people, and I remind myself, I want everything done now, but I know I can't get it done. It's a 3 or 4 or 5 year plan. It's not a get it done by tomorrow at noon. It takes time.
Yes. And when we moved here, I said to my husband, I'm like, we are going to be here for like 5 to 10 years because I've got a lot that I want to do and I want to see it come to fruition and grow. And some plants, like I remember back in my old garden, like I planted a climbing hydrangea. That plant did not bloom for a good several years. It was developing that root system, but wow, once it did, it was gorgeous.
Fantastic. So you like to freeze tomatoes versus canning them. Why is that? And then what do you do with them once they thaw?
So to me, freezing them is way easier than canning. It's much less of a process. It doesn't take as long. And I like to freeze any tomatoes that I'm not going to be using in the moment. And I thaw them out, just, put them in the refrigerator or take them out. And then I just drop them in like a soup or a stew or like a salsa or something. And then you just have like those fresh flavors from your garden in the middle of winter. It's great.
Yeah, we've everybody has their own specific method there, and yours is freezing, and it works out very, very well.
So do you chop them ahead of time, or do you chop them once you thaw them?
I kind of rough chop them, and then I'll chop them more when they're thawed.
So the skin,
but they do have a mushier consistency after they thaw. Like the consistency definitely changes a little bit, but that's why it's good for like a soup or a stew or salsa or something like that.
And the skins don't get rubbery after you freeze them?
I take the skins off before freezing.
Okay,
yeah,
that makes sense.
Well, Stacy, we greatly appreciate your time. How can people find out more about you? How can they find your blog? How can they find your book?
So you can find my blog at stacyling.com. I know that does not sound very fun, like my handle, Bricks and Blooms, but when I was going to start my blog, I was like, you just have to start, and I was getting tripped up on the name, so I was like, stacyling.com it is. So that's how you can find my blog. My social media handles are all Bricks and Blooms, Bricks with the N, Blooms. And then my books are all available on Amazon and Barnes & Nobles, Target, Walmart. You can find them anywhere.
Well, Stacy, we certainly appreciate the time and the information you provided for Holly, myself, and all of our listeners. We thank you very much for that.
Thank you so much for having me on.